on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday. That's right, back on the grind. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great start to your week. However, let's be honest, we had a very nice night last night. Bitcoin up 3.3%. A lot of the other altcoins doing well. Some of them actually in the dark green. So this is actually pretty good. But the question is this the reversal? Did we bottom? Do we have enough momentum? Well, having a look at basically what happened, you could see we were chilling kind of around that $7,960 level. We finally started to break out and we went all the way up to $8,317, and currently we are going sideways. Now you might say this looks a bit like a potential bull flag. Well, we're going to get into that in just a second, but what everyone is asking right now is, does this move have enough momentum to keep pushing Bitcoin to the upside? Because what I did like about this was it was this nice sort of natural curve, right? It wasn't like a Bart Simpson like we usually get. So I did feel that it was a little bit more natural than some of these other ones. However, you could see that right here, Bitcoin's volume is still sitting below $300 million, which, to be quite honest with you, is not that impressive. So I would keep our eyes on the volume, really to show that market confidence. You want to see a lot of volume come into the markets. But anyway, we are going to talk about that today because we do have potentially some pretty intense times coming within the next, well, it could be this week. We'll talk about that. So, yeah, if that sounds good to you, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, well, we do this every single day. And actually, today is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. All you got to do is drop a comment on literally any video throughout the course of the week, and you are eligible, except for today. Today is for last week, but, you know, if you want to drop a comment for next week, we can do that. And the winner is at the end of the video. Now, another thing, too, real quick, before I get into this that I want to talk about is also market sentiment. I want to kind of look to the past to see sort of how, you know, crypto OGs who were around in 2013, 2014, etc. feel about the current market situation right now. I think that it's always kind of good to hear what these people have to say, especially if you're new in the space. It might help you to sort of rationalize these crazy markets, right? But you can see right here, if I give it a quick refresh, Bitcoin is actually at 66.4% dominance. Now, I mean, it is a lot of green across the board. There's a few coins in the red. We do have Bitcoin SV actually up 15%, Chili, Chainlink, Newton, Crypterium, Riff, Matic, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Diamond, MCO, and Ren. A lot of the Bitcoins today, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, so all the Bitcoins are pumping today. So like I said, guys, you know, volume, we went over this. It is a little bit low, and having a look at basically the one-day TA, you can see that there was a lot of buying, okay? It wasn't ultimately strong buying, relatively neutral to, you know, mild buying, but one thing I want to point out right here, the longs are up 53.82%, and yes, this is bullish. That means people are thinking that the price is going to go up. However, you don't want the longs to get too high, right? Because then you could actually have a long squeeze, which is like the opposite of a short squeeze, which would send the price crashing down. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about that today, okay? But before we get into anything, I have to give a massive shout out to Crypto Savvy and his wife. I just want to say thank you, 5 seconds, guys, because they did send me these really cool shirts. They sent me a HODL shirt right here, you can see. Also, they sent me this other one that says buy now or forever. What does it say? Forever hold your fiat. So that was pretty cool. So actually, if you guys are interested, this is not like, there's no links or anything that, you know, I just wanted to say thank you for sending me the shirts. And they also sent me this pretty cool Crypto Zombie. It's like a plaque you can hang. So check it out, guys, if you're interested. They do have a lot of cool crypto gear. I'll drop that below. But yeah, that being said, guys, back to the price. I know that's why everybody's here, but, you know, I always do appreciate, you know, these little nice things from the community. So thank you so much. But essentially, you can see we broke out of this resistance right here. Now, we could potentially go all the way up to the top of this channel, you know, which currently, if we were to pump straight up, which I don't think we're going to, that would be about $9,000. But you can see right here, zooming in, essentially, like basically my buddy Crypto Hamster said over here, we are looking at what appears to be a bit of a, you know, bull flag. Now, it's not actually having that sort of downward slope like the traditional textbook flag. But anyway, you know, the next target would be around that $8,500 level. So let's dive in. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. So if we zoom in right here, There's a few things I want to point out, okay? First thing I want to point out is that we are above the basis. In fact, we are sitting around the most accumulated level on the VPVR. That's good. Second thing I want to point out is this green line right here. This is actually the 21 exponential on the daily. Now, you can see it's actually been holding us down relatively, basically since October 9th. So that would really be the first thing to really get above. I think if we get above this 21 exponential, you might actually start to see these Bollinger Bands explode, and we could have a very, very large move. But currently, the problem is we're actually sort of in like Bitcoin limbo land. You can see if we take this gigantic descending wedge, we can sort of break it into three parts, okay? We have this upper region, this lower region, and then this middle region where Bitcoin just kind of bounces around and doesn't really know what to do, kind of like we did between August 14th and September 2nd. So essentially, we find ourselves in this again. So, we are out of the red zone, that's good, but I would like to get up into this blue zone, at least break above this resistance at around 8,000, well, it's 8,600, but if we continue to go sideways, it obviously gets a little bit lower, which is why we're still looking at that $8,500 level. But once again, the reason that I believe that we stopped, that we didn't continue to pump, is because of these two major resistances that are essentially intersecting. You could see this resistance right here, which was support, flip resistance, flip support, now flip resistance again. And of course, we have this purple line, this bold purple line, that was kind of the area that we were trying to break above before we kind of had this, we had this little consolidation period right here, in the middle of May. So essentially, that's why I think we're getting stomped out. I would like to get above this. And actually, if we break above this, like I said, once again, you could be looking for that explosive move. Also, something absolutely incredible that we looked at yesterday is the fact that we're actually sandwiched between two different moving averages on two different time frames, which is pretty incredible. You can see we've been supported here by this 100-day weekly moving average, which is the blue line, and the 200 daily moving average, which is this yellow line, which has been providing resistance. Now, I had somebody ask me yesterday how you can possibly chart a daily and a weekly or whatever on the same, time frame, since currently we're looking at the daily. How am I charting the weekly? Well, you're going to learn something here, so stick around for the next 30 seconds and I'll tell you how you do this. So essentially, we're on the daily, right? So this is the 200 daily, but how did I chart a weekly? Well, it's really simple. The 100 weekly represents 100 weeks. How many days are there in a week? 7. So you just multiply it by 7. So you can see right here, I actually put 700 MA, and the 700 MA is essentially the 100 weekly, okay? You see, you could do the same thing with the 200 weekly. 200 multiplied by 7 right here, we turn this on, 1,400, and look at that. Now we have the 200 weekly plotted. So the more you know, guys, the more you know. So that is basically how we figured out. But if you want to see something even more mind-blowing than that, how about this, okay? So right here, essentially what we have, the same blue line represents the 100 weekly, but would you look at what is about to potentially put in a golden cross right now is the 55 exponential, which has been holding us down, as you can see right here on the weekly. You can see right here, essentially we had that bearish death cross. We clearly fell, and right now, and you can't even make this up. In fact, look how crazy this is when we zoom in. They're actually riding right, can you see this? If I take my mouse off, look at that, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue, orange. Look at that. They are literally riding on top of each other, potentially looking for a bit of a cross. That's number one that I do consider to be relatively short-term bullish. And the other thing too is having a look at this RSI right here, down here in the purple. You can actually see that we've maintained above that 44. I actually have it plotted at 44.69. But essentially, you could see that when we stayed above this level, that was when Bitcoin was actually able to maintain this sort of sideways movement during the entire end of the it's actually more of the middle of the bear market before we had that massive drop. But essentially, this is also short-term bullish, but we do need to stay above this level. I don't want to see us fall back down. If we do, well, I don't have to tell you guys what's going to happen, but it definitely will make a lot of you very angry, I'm sure. Unless you're dollar cost averaging, then everybody loves some cheap Bitcoin. But also having a look at the altcoins, you can see the altcoins are actually breaking out of their resistance as well. Over here on the daily, they are trying to put in this daily candle, which I do think is relatively good. But in the same hand, we also have Bitcoin, which popped out of its also downwards ascending wedge when it comes to the overall market cap. Now, even though you might be saying, well, it's red currently, yes, but we are still sitting outside of the line. So yes, if we fall back into this wedge, then we'll have to change our tune a bit. But we do know that when Bitcoin dominance does tend to have that pump, well, price usually pumps with it, right? So that is the situation. I'm not going to go into this death cross again because we've gone over it time and time again. This particular one does not necessarily have to happen. In fact, these two lines could, they could come right next to each other and barely touch and then actually just veer off the other way. So we've spoken about that many times, but I think right now, taking all the indicators away, taking away all the fancy whatever you want to talk about, just look at these two simple trend lines for Bitcoin. The first trend line is this yellow trend line that you see back here, put in some resistance and basically provided support essentially during this final moment before the cliff. And also right here, when we tried to, when we had that basically massive dump down to here, which was on May 17th, we were stopped out by that line. So that's number one. Number two, which is the line that is currently supporting us right now, which I consider to also be very important, is this line back here. You could see it provided a little bit of support, then we fell, then it became resistance, and it stayed resistance. And I'll tell you exactly how long it was resistance for. Since the last time before we got back above it was about roughly 135 days, give or take. And then once we finally got above it, well, my goodness, did we skyrocket, okay? And you can see currently that resistance is once again acting as support. And we do know, as I spoke about early in the video, resistance flips to support, support flips to resistance. So the fact that the last time we basically came into contact with this line, it was acting as resistance, and now it's acting as support, in my opinion, is bullish, okay? But like I said, there is the possibility that we fall down to this yellow line, which even if we were to fall straight down is only sitting at about $7,100. And I told you guys, I don't think we're going lower than 7K. In fact, 7.7 might have been the bottom. So that's the situation. This is basically what I'm looking at. It definitely wasn't the time to be shorting yesterday. You don't want to short at the bottom. You definitely want to long the bottoms, right? Now, I understand you could say if we break key support, then you might want to hop in. That's the safe thing to do. However, you do miss out on a lot of those potential gains. So obviously, guys, I personally like to use Bybit. We actually had a great trade that we got in very low, and everyone that was able to get in on that on the channel, congratulations. You should be up by now. You definitely are still up. So if you haven't taken profit, that's on you guys. It was a successful trade. So if you guys are interested, I will drop above how to trade on Bybit. Do not use high leverage, okay? If you're a beginner, 3x to 5x, or else, you're probably gonna have a panic attack. And also I do have links below. They do help support the channel. Obviously you don't have to use them, but here's something I wanted to bring up from Skew. I'm sorry if this is a little bit blurry. It was a small pic. I kind of zoomed it, blew it up a bit. But you can see right here that, looking at just basically since 2014, you could see that, Q1 hasn't really been a great performing quarter. Q2 has been a very good performing quarter. Actually, it was a very good performing quarter this year. Q3 is a little bit rough, but you can actually see if you look at where we're entering right now, essentially, it's actually had 3 out of the last 5 Q4s be positive. So are we actually looking to put in a positive Q4? Are we going to end December on a positive note? In my opinion, I think that we are, but guys, how that goes, everyone's going to have their opinion, but I do think that by the end of this year, we're going to be substantially higher than we are now, and I also do believe that as soon as we get above that 10K level, it's more like actually 10.1, I don't think we're ever going to fall below $10,000 again. We can go into a lot of different reasons why, but that's just my personal opinion, but I want to talk about sentiment, right? Because a lot of people are new to the space and they don't know what it's like to be in this type of a market, right? So there was this post on Reddit and it was basically asking, how do you guys feel about where we are today? This is from a person who just recently got into cryptocurrency. So I just wanted to go over some of these responses. I thought they were really helpful to new people in the space to kind of understand that these are the ebbs and flows of Bitcoin. And this is very natural to have these insanely wild price swings. So the first person says, I've been in the space since late 2013, and although the gains have been great, to be honest, it feels like it's been crypto winter most of the time. Bull markets happen extremely fast, always overshoot, and then we're in for a long, slow, painful grind downwards or sideways, right? However, but here's the thing. Imagine if the current Bitcoin price were actually at an all-time high, and we would have had a slow and steady growth from $200 in 2013 to around the $8,000 level that we are now. Or he says even $3,000. But imagine if it had just gone up slowly and didn't have those crazy wild pullbacks, right? everyone would be ecstatic and, it would be a different tune. But because we go up to 20K and pull down, go up to 14K and pull down, people buy the highs. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching right now that have bought too high and you're down right now. That sucks short term. But keep in mind your dollar cost averaging and the long-term perspective for Bitcoin, in my opinion, is very, very, very good. Very good. So down here, you can see the time right now doesn't feel more gloomy than 2015 to me. The history of crypto is boom and bust with a dominating growth trend, and I don't see anything fundamental to have changed that. And here's the one that I really liked. This guy chimed in and said, as an over-the-counter trader, I could tell you that volume, which we were just talking about, especially from new buyers, are increasing at a speed of about 40% to 50% more per year. So your impression might be psychological. Now keep in mind, you could have massive OTC trading. None of it will be reflected in the volume. We've gone over this, right? So there could be guys buying Bitcoin right now over the counter in mass, and none of us would have any idea. And I guarantee you that that's what they're doing, guys. I guarantee you. They say it is still far from mainstream. Many of my friends who have good IT competence still dare not touch it. And also, let's be real, a lot of people simply don't understand Bitcoin, which I'm going to get to in just a second. But you can also see right here, this was pointed out by another Reddit user, SLVBTC. He says, prior to the November 2012 halving, the price was around $12. There were 50 Bitcoin being mined per block, meaning the market was absorbing $604,800 worth of new Bitcoin per week. That halving reduced the new supply by 302,000 per week, causing the market cap to rise by $14 billion over the following year, okay? And you can see right here that basing his predictions on what has come before, he says that with the price of Bitcoin hypothetically at around $10,000, it's not really right now, but just for easy math, that Bitcoin's market cap should rise to trillions of dollars over the course of the next bull run, which if it was to get over $1 trillion, that would put Bitcoin at $55,000. And I know what you're saying to yourself. So much for this prediction. Well, don't forget that people, when Bitcoin was 6 billion, they were talking about the halving, pushing it to over 100 billion. Well, currently, where's Bitcoin sitting at right now? Hold on. We're sitting at 148 billion, and people were saying we'd never go to 100 billion. Keep in mind the overall market cap of all cryptos had seen upwards of 880 billion at the all-time high. Trillion's really not that far out of the cards, guys. It's actually a possibility. I know it seems like a far reach now, but we all know how these things play out in the future, right? So the other thing too, guys, is let's talk about the Fed. So since mid-September, they have been injecting $210 billion into the economy, part of its newly revitalized quantitative easing strategy. As you guys know, this move obviously dwarfs the total market cap of Bitcoin, which we just said is around 148. So the Fed has essentially printed more than the overall market cap of Bitcoin since September, okay? Also, not to mention that in a speech at the IMF, their general meeting last week, you had former Bank of England Governor Mervyn King told attendees that the world was, and in his words, sleepwalking, okay, into a financial crisis even worse than that of 2008. So you have to ask yourself, which side are you on? But I understand. Adoption. Adoption is the biggest problem, right? It's too complicated to figure out how to set up a Coinbase account, get your private keys, get your ledger, keep your coins off exchanges, learn how to trade on exchanges, learn about terminologies, what's an ERC20, what is all these different things. It's very complicated. So you are seeing a lot of solutions. For example, I just want to point this out. There was a research report from ING International Survey revealed the awareness about Bitcoin among people aged between 25 and 44 years, okay? However, the number of people who owned any amount of crypto in the world was only about 4% to 12%, even though 38 to 79% of people are aware of Bitcoin. You find that less of them are actually willing to take the next step and buy some. Well, why is that? As you can see right here, essentially cryptocurrencies are still communicated as complex ideas, right? There's still too many steps to get involved. And I know for you and I, we're sitting here going, what are you talking about? This is easy. You set up a wallet. Yeah, well, it's, easy once you're in it. But when you're starting out, it's very difficult. I'm sure it wasn't that easy when you first started out yourself, if you don't remember. But I wanted to point out, you're seeing all these different solutions. You're seeing Bakkt, Fidelity, and now we have traditional digital payment companies like Skrill that are also entering as well. They have close to 20 years of experience in providing simple, quick, and secure digital payment services, and it's an acknowledged global leader in the payment industry. So Basically, they're providing their users with what they say is the easiest alternative to purchasing crypto directly. Now, I understand this is not Satoshi's vision, but the reality is the majority of people out there forget their passwords to their bank account and they call up their bank and they reset their password. You forget your private keys, you're screwed, okay? So I know that we want everybody to just be 100% decentralized right from the start, but that's not the reality, guys. Baby steps. Maybe once they get in, then they'll learn, then they'll secure their own private keys or something like that. But essentially, you can see right here, they don't need to worry about addresses, cold storage, private keys, because funds are held in their secure custodianship. Also, you can see they are regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under the electronic money regulation. So essentially, you could say what you want about products like this, but I do believe they are a small step forward for Bitcoin. Crown above me right there. So the other thing I want to talk about too is, you're seeing Chinese cryptocurrency hardware manufacturer Bitmain has opened what it is claiming to be the world's largest facility for Bitcoin mining in Rockdale, Texas. By the way, anybody from Texas, anybody by Rockdale, have you guys visited it? Can you confirm this? Let me know. But that's the thing. You're seeing this gigantic mining farm, the world's largest mining farm, get set up. You would think if the miners thought that Bitcoin was headed down and the price was going to go to zero, why would they be putting this much amount of energy, literally energy, and money into creating these type of Bitcoin facilities, right? You can see currently developed to a current 25 megawatt capacity with a 50 megawatt facility remaining under construction. It's sitting on 33,000 acres, well, it doesn't say land for the site, and it has a capacity of potentially 300 megawatts in the future, which is absolutely incredible. And guys, it wouldn't be a crypto video without talking about something Libra related. Well, Libra is hinting at changing their core rollout model. So you had David Marcus suggesting that the core model of Libra can in fact be changed if the governments are unhappy with the current Libra prototype. This would entail launching several stablecoins, each backed by a fiat currency, as opposed to the current version, which combines a basket of fiat currencies. So, really the takeaway from this is they're already admitting that they can change it, they can do whatever they want. So do you really want to be holding Libra? Do you really want to be purchasing things with Libra and then have your wallet shut down because we disagree with what you purchased or it seems suspicious or something of that nature? So yeah, Bitcoin solves this. So that's where I'm going to end the video on today, but not before we give away our Ledger Nano S21 lucky winner from last week's video. So yeah, we had 7 videos last week, 7 days in the week. So, this was, what was this? There's another chart I had pulled up, a little crazy looking. Anyway, all right, 7 days. Let's generate. Number 6. So that would be Saturday's video. All right, let's go to Saturday's video. That was Bitcoin pump rejected. Explosive move still possible? Well, I think we all know that the explosive move certainly happened. So let's come over here. What am I doing, guys? I'm all discombobulated at the end of the video. All right, let's check out the comments. 572 unique comments. All right, drum roll, please. Waiting for breakout soon. Well, we had the breakout. So this was on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we had the breakout. So don't you like how sometimes things just work out for you? So, is it Ma Wei? Is that how you say it? Well, as you guys know, any comment is eligible for the Ledger. You do have 24 hours. Hit me up if you don't want it. Well, then we'll do it again tomorrow. But that being said, guys, thank you so much. And obviously, if you are the winner, don't go by the comments. There's a lot of scammers that pretend to be me. Either go to the official About section and email me, or you can join the Telegram group, which is 100% free, and you can find me there. That being said, let's have a quick look. Yeah, we're just kind of hanging around here. I mean, this is what you do after Bitcoin has a move. It usually does have that consolidation, right?